this, I want that, it is allowed. There is nothing bad about it. But what I'm telling you is this. It is the right of political parties to unveil their candidates. Some can choose to unveil them, on a certain day. Some can do it on a single day, bring every candidate together. Some can go to their various senatorial districts and unveil the candidates within that senatorial district. So the processes are on. They're inconclusive yet. We must, know that the time is very much sacrosanct. The date for this election is sacrosanct. And we'll have to do everything to ensure that we follow it to the end, to its logical conclusion. You see, it is quite abysmal and annoying when you see some persons trying to stop these processes or, exhibiting attitudes or actions that tends to inhibit the success of these processes. If you're a true reverse man and a true democratic person, you mustn't do anything or try to circumvent processes or try to use whatever means you want to stop this election. We are talking about providing elected government at the grassroots level. And if the government of the day, under the governor, Sasna Ifubra, have blessed that local government elections should take place, then RISIEC have come up to unveil that this is what we're going to do. It is quite very important that every person, every reasonable, conscious-minded reverse man and woman must support these processes to its logical conclusion than to look for devious means of stampeding it, holding it down, blocking it, or making it not to function.
Right. I wouldn't want us to go straight to this area yet. We'll come to it. But coming back to what the first two questions were, which were, who are these candidates? Is IPAC aware? And how many political parties are participating? The reason why I'm asking is because we know that there are several litigations in the PDP, in the APC, which are like the very popular ones. Some are saying it's possible that both of these parties might not participate in the election. From IPAC's perspective, the list of parties are participating, can we have an idea? Do you think like the names mentioned are going to be represented on the ballot? Do you think as at now that they are participating, to the best of your knowledge?
You see, from the onset, I've told you here, and I've told Rivers people severally, when the last time I came up here, I said then we had 17 political parties that were actively involved in the electoral processes.
Including the APC?
17 political parties were actively involved.
Does that include the APC?
Let me come now. Recently, we saw the court judgment that enthroned or restored Chief Emeka Beke back in the saddle as the legitimate state chairman of the APC. And with that court judgment, Chief Emeka Beke came out in public and said, well, he's ready. He's going to participate in the election. Chief Emeka Beke-led APC have formally identified with IPAC River State. And so that has taken the number of those political parties that have identified herself with IPAC to 18. So I can speak for the parties that have identified with IPAC. Initially we were 17, but after the court judgment, Chief Emeka Beke came on board. We even had a press briefing together. So he is part and parcel of, the IPAC today as we speak. And he has also gone on air. Chief Emeka Beke said he's going to participate in the election. He said APC will participate in the election.
Does the 17 include the PDP?
No, not at all. The PDP didn't express interest. The PDP have never identified. The PDP led by, who is the chairman at the moment, but acting, so they didn't identify with IPAC right from the onset. I've never heard that. He has never been part of everything we have done as a body. He's never been to our meetings, to our programs. So I don't know and can't speak for a body or a party that have not identified with what we're doing.
What about your party?
My own party, yes, of course. SDP is fully involved in the processes.
It then brings us to the question. I mean, there are speculations that, well, if you've just said the PDP has not identified with IPAC, we don't know if the PDP is going to be on the ballot, if they're going to participate in the elections. But rumors have it that, well, we might see some people who where members or members of the PDP leave the party to join other political parties just to compete in the election, contest in the election. Is IPAC aware of this?
Well, everything is possible in the public domain, and people have their right to choose where they want to go to, where they want to belong to, and all the rest. It's inevitable.
I'm simply asking this because you had said, well, there's room for substitution. Even though the political parties have their candidates already, they've held their primaries and all of that stuff. People still calling for this and that to be involved is because, the window still allows for it. So is that a pointer to the rumors that, well, we might last minute see some individuals come into some parties and replace the candidates that those parties already have for the local government election?
Let's not speculate on rumors. You call it rumors.
What facts would you give us then?
What I'm saying right now is this. We'll leave whatever that is in the realms of rumors that is not substantiated for now. But I have told you the processes are on. It is for political parties to unveil their candidates. And when that is done, the whole public will know. Parties can decide on the modus operandi with which they want to unveil their candidates. You understand? Like we have decided as SDP to unveil our candidates according to the various senatorial districts.
So you already have a candidate?
We have done our primaries.
So you have a candidate?
Of course we do.
But you haven't unveiled yet?
We're yet to unveil them.
Okay. And you think that's the same strategy other political parties
I can't speak for other parties. On that, I can't speak for other parties because they have their individual candidates so far. But for mine, we have scheduled to unveil our candidates at a date to be announced. And we intend to do that senatorial district by senatorial district. Then before we come up at the center, bring everybody together, and then flag up our campaigns. When the time for campaigns, when we get to that point, of course, we'll start our campaigns. And everybody will know, you will know. It will be in the entire airwaves. So, but political parties have their own way they want to handle their procedures, their processes, their internal, workings, which IPAC would not determine that for them. And IPAC would not equally interfere in that aspect. So everybody's working. What we are doing is, what we are collectively doing more is to conscientize the public. Conscientize the society, especially the youths. Because if we don't put things right now, we'll still come back to this vicious circle. If the people who are supposed to be direct beneficiaries of this local government system, especially now that we have autonomy, especially now that the resources to develop the local governments will go directly to the councils, and then those who are supposed to be direct beneficiaries are not living up to that expectations, then it means we will go back to the vicious circle. But I don't want to believe we're going back on that, because the government of the day have shown a lot of positive aura that this has to be done. The governor is not resting on his oars to make sure that we have a workable, a strong grassroots government in place. He has demonstrated that with a lot of talks, advices, and so on. So we will do all we can as a body to conscientize people. We should not allow one individual or any individual circumvent these processes or hinder what is supposed to be for the benefit of the entire masses or the entire people. We will not allow that. That's why IPAC is standing tall to say this election is sacrosanct. And we agree with RISEC. They say the election will be conducted free and fair. And we are also agree.
Many would say free and fair in this country is relative.
Well, it depends. It's subjective, because I know there are other places in Nigeria where other places have won elections at the local government level. I can tell you, like in Niger State, SDP won the council election. SDP had councillors in Niger State. Go and check it on record. We also saw in the last administration when Governor El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna, was there. So other parties won. So Rivers State
would be... But it doesn't seem to be the culture in the Niger Delta.
You see...
Rivers, Bayelsa, Delta State. That doesn't seem to be the culture. It's usually one party gets all.
It has been a prevalent, norm in quotes, across Nigeria. But we must not remain in such, a cocoon. We must move out of it. It is you and I, it is the media, the electorates, the parties, the voters that must use the powers of the tomb to change that narrative. We can't remain in such, a cloned state of being. So we are very happy that in the present era, we have seen a governor who is very liberal, a governor who is carrying everybody along. And we in IPAC, we are very proud of him for that. And one instance which I will not fail to mention is that in the institution of the caretakers in Rivers State today, IPAC had a fair representation across the entire LGAs.
How so?
Yes. IPAC have representations in the entire LGAs among the caretaker committees. There is no LGA you go to today that you won't find one IPAC member as a member of the caretaker committee. And this was made possible by the state governor, because he would have used his powers to allow whatever wants to be. But you can see from his actions that IPAC was carried along. And we're talking about IPAC, we're talking about the entire political parties. And so if you have NROM represented in an LGA, if you have ADC in an LGA, ZLP in an LGA, YPP in an LGA, SDP in an LGA, that shows that the government of the day actually, thinks positive about including all political parties in what they're doing.
We have a short commercial coming. After the commercial, we'll come back. If there's anything to take out of what you said now, is that it used to be 17 parties. Now it's 18 with the APC.
Who have indicated interest, who have identified with IPAC.
And they've identified with IPAC. And you've also said that the PDP is not among that list that have identified with IPAC.
So for now,
the local government elections for now. All right, we'll find out more after the commercial. It is Nigeria Info 92.3 PH on Facebook. Watch live, drop your comments. We'll be taking them when we return.
For more Is the freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Nigeria Info opens the mic.
All right, 29 minutes past 8. That's the time. The conversation continues here on the Morning Crossfire. My name is Ifeemi Andrew, and IPAC chairman in Rivers State is here with us in the person of Solsuema Osaro. And the question we're asking, if you go on Facebook, what are your concerns as we approach the local government elections and political parties are yet to announce their candidates. No unveiling yet. My guest says, well, the political parties have conducted primaries and have their candidates, and they will choose when they want to unveil these candidates. Well, some people choose to disagree, and I have several messages on Facebook already in response to that. One of them says, tell your guests to speak the truth. I have not heard anything about any party conducting their party primaries, not even a single poster of candidates in Fauga, including his own party. So how can we vote for candidates we don't take time to know? Samson Oji is asking that question. Odinaka says, good morning. A check Etika chairman is not helping. Tell him to do like other chairmen. Odepeli Gosoka says, no court in Nigeria can stop the process of elections when its time is due, because CTC is an aberration to our laws. This one says, good morning to you and your guest. My concern as the local government election approaches is that the electoral body responsible for the conduct of the election should show professionalism. Secondly, political parties should ensure that they fill in the best as candidates for total development, infrastructurally, and human capital development as well. Lastly, security agents should do their job professionally. This is Prince Sam Abadi. Well, several people already coming in with the messages. Keep them coming on Facebook Live. We're streaming. Remember, it is Nigeria Info, 92.3 PH on Facebook. If you haven't joined the community, go there. You can watch the Morning Crossfire live online. And importantly, don't forget to click on the share button. Very important. Now, let me get back to my guest, Mr. Osaro, quickly. You heard that person who disagrees with you saying, I have not seen one poster, not even one. And I have not seen any party that conducted their primaries.
He's talking specifically now of SDP. Well, I would like to.
No, he says all parties, even your own that you mentioned.
That's what I'm saying. He has specifically mentioned my party, and my party is a Social Democratic Party. And I will tell you that the candidate for SDP in Faga is Dr. Matthew Sumiari. Dr. Matthew Sumiari is the candidate of SDP in Faga.
It's not going to change. We're not going to see calls from groups like you said, and then last minute, there's a switch or a flip or something.
Look, you see, the flexibility in our democratic processes is that even with the election conducted by INEC, you still have substitution. You understand? But again, it depends on the party. It is the internal decision of the party and the candidates involved.
It doesn't break any electoral laws.
No, it doesn't.
There is no time frame as to when you should announce.
There is a time frame for substitution. There's a time frame for the conduct of primaries, and it is left for, like I said earlier on, it is left for the parties to unveil their candidates. But because someone have made a very wrong statement concerning my party, I have come up to clear that now. That in Faga, my candidate is Dr. Matthew Sumiari
for the SDP.
For the SDP. In Boni, our candidate, as I speak to you, is Amos Senebo Ibman Green, popularly known as Femie.
So does it mean that the CTC...
You understand?
Okay, go ahead.
You understand?
Yeah.
So Chief Green is a candidate in Boni. But like I also told you, we are planning to unveil our candidates. The party will do that, and the society will get to know. When it is time for campaign proper, you don't begin to campaign now when the time, the period for campaign is not yet unveiled. There is a time frame for campaign. There is time frame when campaign begins and campaign ends. So if you expect anyone to float posters now when the time for campaign is not yet there, then it is an aberration. So the society should also be watchful.
When is campaign supposed to start officially?
I think it should be.
Because, I mean, we're about a month now. Some people are thinking in September, that's when we should really see.
It's going to be in next month.
Is there, like, you have
it will be next month.
Date or plan?
There's a specific date for that. I don't have the program right here with me, but there's a specific date for that next month. All
right, let's take a few calls. We'll come back to this. There's still plenty more to discuss, but let's hear from Rivers people. 0817 923 0002. When I say Rivers people, I think I just put a limit to it because we go beyond that. So let's hear from Nigerians. Those watching online, those outside of Rivers State following the conversation and the happenings in Rivers State. Prof. Miss Edum on Facebook says, that man saying that the election will not hold in Rivers State, is he not aware that CTC is an aberration to our laws? Were they not the same people crying for local government elections in the state before this time? Which was something I said we're going to come to regards to when you said there are those trying to stop the elections from holding, even though we've had many also call for the elections to hold. Now, some people say, was the problem the fact that those calling for the elections to hold wanted it to hold at a particular time? And because it didn't hold that time, now they don't want it to hold anymore. What's your take?
All right, thank you so much. You see, we must not allow ourselves to be misled by a certain few persons who feel things must be done their way. We've gone out matured beyond that level. You agree with me that there was a time lapse when the tenures of the former chairman expired. And the moment their tenure expired, RISIA came up with a timetable. Specifically on July 1st, they unveiled a program for the conduct of local government elections in line with the laws of RISIA, in line with the 90 days limit. Now, we have seen this in process. What is the issue against election now? Why should some persons feel this election should not hold? These were same persons that were calling for election, that even went to RISIEC and cried that RISIEC must conduct election. Now, RISIEC have unveiled the processes. Why? Now, the CTC is a child of necessity. You know, it's on record prior to this moment that several states, more than 19 states in Nigeria, were running their local government with CTC. We know that. Now, we're happy that there is a law that has defined that the local government level must have elected officers, and specifically the autonomy, which is very good. But you will agree with me that you will not allow vacuum at the local government level, especially when the tenure of the previous system ended. And so wasn't there a meeting between the president and governors to give some time frame? I think it was about 3 to 4 months to give that time frame to see that the state governments, ensure that elections are held and then the CTCs are replaced. That's very good. And that's why we believe in Rivers State that we have to make sure this election holds on 5th of October. So you're not scared that, you're not worried that you believe that this election would hold within that time frame? Because, the time frame should be October. So if the elections doesn't hold by October, it means it will elapse. Why do you think the election should not hold October? We wouldn't know. No, we are very optimistic. We've not allowed any form of negativity in our consciousness as political parties, because we are the drivers of these processes. We are the pillars of these processes. Political parties are the vehicles for which this election we hold. You won't conduct any election without political parties. The parties must be involved for it to have its legitimacy. The parties must be voted for, and the parties must have representations or candidates. And so we are saying that these processes must hold. We must get to the end. October 5th is sacrosanct. Anybody that doesn't want our elections to hold on October 5th is a darkness in Rivers State and to Rivers people. All right, anybody that feels this election should not hold does not mean well for Rivers people. And questions will be asked. The person will be placed on the loop of posterity tomorrow. What do you stand to gain? So what's like I said, there's a lot to say for IPAC. Let me just also correct. Those who are saying that CTCs are illegal, you know, like I said earlier on, the CTCs were used, have been in place. But for the time being that these laws, the Supreme Court made its decision. And like you've also observed, that the governors and the president had a meeting and have agreed on the time frame with which states who are running caretakers should do the election, which is very good. I mean, that is good for states. And so if it is left for any state now who is running caretaker, who doesn't want to conform to that order, it is left for that state. But in Rivers State, we are very glad and happy that the state governor is doing everything humanly, physically possible to ensure that this election holds. And the agency of the state government, the RISEC, saddled with these responsibilities, are living up to their expectations. We've had several, meetings with RISEC, and as I speak to you, we are also meeting with RISEC any moment from now. So we know that these processes are on, and we will do everything as political parties, as IPAC, to support these processes to its end.
Mr. Osaro, let's go over to the phone lines. We begin with Braid in Buguma, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. What are your concerns as we approach the local government elections, especially now that we haven't seen political parties unveil their candidates? Braid, we'll start with you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Braid.
Yes, and also IPAC chairman, good morning.
Good morning, thank you.
Yes, my question is this, number one. Now, there is an injunction. As that injunction be removed, that restrain RISEC not to conduct local government election. Also restrain the Nigerian police. Also restrain the INEC not to release the voters' register. And also, you know that when it's time for election, the local government election that is conducted by RISEC use the INEC local government offices. So now that there is restraint, how would it go? And police is all over, all taking over the local government offices. So which way the election is going? And up to this moment, we are not seeing parties flagging their posters, their banners here and there. So that is a really concern to Rivers State. I want you to throw more light on this. Thank you.
All right, Braid, thank you. Just note that question. Let's go to Gift in Yenegoa next. Quickly, Gift. Good morning. Straight to your question.
Thank you for the quickly, but let me just remind us, I have stayed online for over 7 minutes. And the quickly, I will just manage, no problem. It's one of those things. Let me put it to your guest in the studio, Bishim Andrew, my brother. He's not truthful to himself. Go back to your records. I'm not talking about any other radio station. In your own radio station, this was the guy who came on air lampooning that very RISEC chairman, abusing a man, kicking against anybody who is trying to call for elections. What has changed? What is the drama? What is the undercurrent? And let me put it to him. This is not secret society. That you will tell us who are your candidates in different local governments. That text message you read, that is the truth. You cannot come and deceive anybody. You do your primaries open, in an open space, and everybody will be in the know. Not you as the chairman of your party. Is that what is happening in INEC and even in the state of federal? What are we trying to do here? Just because, I don't know, I don't want to accuse people, but let me tell him, Chief Tony Okosha, who went to court, it was because of things like these processes. You don't follow due process. People went to you, okay, what was the budget of River State? It was never captured, this very election matter. And you are supporting it, even the illegal body caretaker. You are supporting it. Look at what happened to this man in Bayelsa here, David Leon. Immediately they gave that judgment. There was nothing like review. The president, with all due respect, and the governors, they don't have that power. So anybody who is deceiving himself that the president, they are giving window, which window? Who gave the president that power or any governor? Immediately, that was immediate effect. So any money you are spending, it is illegal. Just like
all right, Gift. Thank you.
Let's
go to Mufasa from NTA Road now.
Well, let me quickly respond to this man because there are issues he has raised, and when someone comes here to malign or speak lies, it is very, very necessary to put that person in checks and put the pictures through. Now he has lied against me. I have never spoken against the conduct of local government elections. I always spoke against when imposters went to RISEC. The imposters that went to RISEC undermined the genuineness of the RISEC, of the IPAC leadership as at September last year. You understand? I was the acting IPAC chairman, and then Chief Tony Okocha took Mr. Aaron Chukwemeka to RISEC and introduced him as IPAC chairman. And then we came up and opposed that vehemently, that he was an imposter because he was not the then IPAC chairman. I was the acting IPAC chairman. And so we condemned that act. It took place in RISEC. We called the RISEC leadership to this abnormally. And we were very angry because RISEC leadership gave them the platform to come up there and misled the public. As at then, we wrote to RISEC, but we were never invited for discussions as IPAC. And so when that happened, we condemned that act. Of course, we have to air that out. We were here in your studio to tell the whole world that those that went to RISEC were imposters. We didn't condemn that local government election should not hold. And again, he must understand that when you are living in a society with norms and standards and procedures, you have to comply. We have seen how this present election, came on board. We have seen the processes initiated. And so if you feel that the elections should not be conducted, that RISEC should not conduct this election, for one reason you feel or the other, that is not accepted. And so the man should do well by going back. See, he is a member of a political party. If he is actively involved in his party activities, he will know that there are processes the parties have undertaken.
All right.
So it is left for parties, I still maintain that, it is left for parties to unveil who their candidates are. It is not for an individual to sit in his house and then decide for what parties will do. Parties are institutions. He is an individual.
Let's go to
and then
Mufasa
to the other person, the first
question.
Yeah,
we'll
the
get
first
to
question.
it. Let's just take one call and then we'll add to it and you respond to both. Good morning, Mufasa.
Yeah, hi, Andrew. Good morning. Good morning to the gentleman in the studio.
Good morning.
Well, I want to believe that the gentleman speaks for IPAC and a political party and not for RISEC. And for that singular reason, I want to appreciate him for having confidence in the system and the government of Rivers. But I have two questions for him. The first question is, recently the former leader of the APC, when I mean leader, when I'm referring to, she's Tony Okocha, there was the time he came to your studio recently and he said that RISEC called for a stakeholders meeting and the APC was not invited. I want to know from the NDC man here, how was the invitation like? Was the invitation sent to parties like they were like sent to them to the secretariat personally? They used
Mufasa, you're breaking up, but I think we got what you're trying to say. So let me quickly get to you. So you just take this and the very first question together.
You see, the invitation comes in two folds. One, through IPAC, or you go to RISEC and get your invitation.
Okay, the party is on their own.
Go
to
RISEC and get invitation, or you can get through IPAC.
Okay.
Now, I have made this very clear to us. Prior to this moment, Chief Tony Okocha was hobnobbing with RISEC, up to the extent he went to RISEC and introduced somebody who was not, recognized in IPAC then as the acting chairman of IPAC. And then we objected that. And now we saw a twist when RISEC came up, unveiling timetables and all the rest. The same Chief Tony Okocha began to speak against the conduct of elections. And so, between this period, if you have good conscience and clear mind, and election or process for this election has been unveiled, what stops you from going to the institution to get your invitation? or what stops you from identifying with IPAC,
What is the standard
which
procedure?
is the umbrella body, which is the body that interacts with RISEC, which is the body known by RISEC. Don't forget, IPAC is the aggregate of all the political parties. And so if for one reason or the other, known to Chief Tony Okocha, who initially was misleading the public on the leadership of IPAC, and when things turned the other way around, he ostracized himself from IPAC because we asked him, what you have done is wrong. Come and apologize to IPAC and IPAC members for misleading the public. He has never identified with IPAC when he was still acting as the caretaker chairman of APC. Everything IPAC did, he shunned. And so you will not wait for anybody to carry letters to his house. We have a functional secretariat. Correspondence can come to RISEC, from even any other body to IPAC, and they will communicate our members. And so if somebody, for his own reasons, shunned a body, a legitimate body he is supposed to be a member of, do you expect that body to go to his house and inform him? No, you don't do that.
All right.
And so you do expect someone who is criticizing the system.
Let's say that's for that, because we have 2 more calls to take. And then the first caller asked the question with the litigations. Yes. The secretariats are blocked. We have the police still in front of the secretariats, sealed them off, and we know that they are very instrumental. The secretariats are instrumental in conduct of elections. So he's asking, how are they doing it? Would this not affect the election?
Well, the truth is, like the last speaker observed in one of his comments, that I am not speaking for RISEC. It's very truthful. You see, whatever RISEC needs to do with the litigations or the issues in court, it is RISEC that will handle that. It is RISEC's duty to handle issues that affects RISEC as an institution. You understand me? And so whatever has to do with the litigations in place, RISEC responsibilities, it is that to handle. Okay. But whatever interaction that has to do with RISEC and IPAC, we can authoritatively tell you or speak. And so for any issues concerning litigations, RISEC will handle that. They have departments, they have the legal department that is in charge of that.
All right, quickly, let's take a George from Cookigam. Let's hear you. Good morning.
Andrew, good morning.
Yep.
Yeah, let me greet the young man. He has spoken very educative this morning.
Thank you.
To educate Rivers people on the way forward. I think that man, your student, should be well commended. I greet you once again, sir.
Thank you so
Please,
much.
let me tell you, Andrew. You remember the last time Honorable Promise Regina came to your studio. He told you that those who will not want, the enemies of the state who will not want this election to be held, he said they will play them political Maradona. Do you know what political, you understand what political Maradona is? So anyway, all political parties will have to conduct themselves to produce and do their internal party activities to produce a candidate that is left for them. Substitution is allowed and recognized in internal party activities and how to produce candidates. But that's of Tony Okocha, my brother. I am telling you, he is just one single man, and he doesn't have the power, the Agbakara, to stop this election that is forthcoming.
All right, George.
You understand? But I want to also tell you that my local government chairman just produced a well-furnished police station.
Let's go to Cookigam now in Rumulumeni. George, thank you very much. We have to move on. Cookigam, let's hear you quickly. Good morning.
Andrew, good morning. Andrew, I listened to Sasson, the IPAC chairman of River State. It's in the right direction. Andrew, party constitution give party 3 guidelines. Consensus. Option A,
indirect primaries. Indirect primaries.
Also, consensus. Party can do consumption. It's normal. Anybody that can design party has to do what we call concession in primary. Do you agree, John? You say yes, it's concession. I agree. So nobody should force the primaries of the political parties in River State because party has their weight of primary. So the party are choosing their concession. It's allowed in primary.
All right.
As a politician I am, I know party has guidelines to do concession. So nobody should put it. Nobody can say what to stop it. No, it's not because party has to choose their candidate through consensus. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah,
and,
he's right.
On WhatsApp, hold on.
It's
On WhatsApp, someone says, please let us know the party where those working with the governor will contest the elections. Fidelis sent in this one from Chokoche. And I'll take one more message so we can have you wrap up. Davidson says, local government election campaigns begin on the 4th of September to 3rd of October. All right, so we're just a few days away. Thank you very much for that information, David Sim. And Ogo General Justice says, when is the deadline for parties' primary election? Have all political parties met up with the deadline? Let no one deceive us. So Ogo General Justice sent in that one. We have few seconds.
Political parties, like I mentioned earlier on, have their own internal workings and mechanisms to follow all processes. And so I can tell you convincingly that political parties have taken that into their hands and they have done the needful.
And again,
I don't think persons with good conscience will expect political parties to be chaotic, to conduct themselves like they are in a rumble. No, we are not in SmackDown war. No, Monday Night Raw here. We have a civil way of conducting our affairs.
And then just to repeat again for us. So we have how many political parties known with INEC?
We have 18 parties who have identified themselves with IPAC in Rivers State.
IPAC. So
yes.
APC joined recently and
yes,
PDP
APC,
is not among
APC
the
joined
18.
recently after the court judgment that restored Chief Emeka
right.
Beke. And
Mr. Osaro,
we
thank you very much.
Chief
We'll go
Emeka
for a
Beke
commercial now.
The boys have been separated from the men as Nigeria imports